Oh, hey, we have a special guest this hour joining us right now, Colorado Rockies President of Baseball Operations, Paul DePodesta. Lots of questions for Paul. Mike, I'll let you lead off.
Yeah,
here.
Paul, let's just start about how you retooled the roster. One thing I've noticed is you picked up, this is what I've called some of these guys, a few Mickey Moniak, the veterans who have been around the game, maybe not full-time starters, but you picked those guys up, I guess, to help set the professionalism in the clubhouse, and guys who can play, who know how to play. Talk about that strategy.
Sure. I think there were really two things we were trying to accomplish. The first was, to your point, bring in some veteran leadership. We just had a really, really young roster, guys who hadn't experienced a lot at the big league level and hadn't experienced success at the big league level. So we wanted to bring in some guys that could set a certain standard of, hey, okay, you're in the big leagues, but that's not good enough. We're reaching for higher than that, and this is what that looks like in February. This is what that looks like in April. This is what it looks like in August, right? Yeah. On a day-to-day basis, just a different standard. The other thing we want to do is just really increase the depth of our roster. We knew through the course of the year we may have a 26-man roster today. We're going to need probably 30, 35 players through the course of the year, both pitching and position player-wise. And what you don't want to do is get into a position where you're starting to use players who really aren't ready to compete at this level because you don't have anybody else, right? So we really want to bring in some guys, create a lot more competition at some of the different positions, and simultaneously increase our depth.
Paul, you have 20-plus years of experience in Major League Baseball, front office work, and you've been around winning clubs. The Moneyball era of the A's, with the Dodgers at one point. Coming here to the Rockies, a team coming off a 43-win season. Talk about the challenge of turning something around that's reached kind of the low that the Rockies have reached last year.
Sure. I think the first thing is just changing the environment, right, and getting everybody to believe that this is possible, and then what is possible beyond, what we can even do in the first couple weeks or first months of the season. I think we've already seen that to some degree from our team. You just see the way they play. We went into Toronto, American League champs, took 2 out of 3 from them, which was great. There is a belief, and I think in that was really our first order of business. I think Shafe and the coaching staff have done an incredible job of sort of building that up, internally and making all these guys know that it is possible as long as we put in a certain level of work and, again, maintain that standard that we've set out for these guys.
Usually guys like you, when you come in, you want your own manager. You decided to stick with Warren Schaefer. Tell us about that decision.
Yeah, you have a checklist of what you're looking for in a leader, whether it's a head coach from football or manager in baseball. And there are a lot of things that I was looking for. And as soon as I came on the job, I started talking to Shafe, and every conversation we had, I thought, okay, check. Check. Why would I look elsewhere? I mean, this guy already has institutional knowledge. I think the players love playing for him. But there were just a lot of things about his character, his leadership, his work ethic, his sense of collaboration, his genuine curiosity to get better. I mean, all those things I think were really intrigued me, and just he ended up being an obvious choice.
Can I ask you, a lot of fans are thinking about Hunter Goodman coming off that great Silver Slugger season as a guy that team is really going to count on. But how about a player that maybe is flying under the radar here on the morning of the home opener that you think is going to surprise a lot of people this year?
Well, I think we have a few, hopefully. I think we hopefully will get the best out of all these guys. It's one of our real charges this year is like, how do we elevate each individual player's game? Sure. But certainly 2 of our young players that have been playing every day, Kyle Karros at third base and TJ Rumfield over at first. I think both those guys have ended up having, great first weeks, and hopefully they can carry that through the whole season.
Paul, we appreciate you coming out here this morning. I imagine you have a good seat because it's almost a sellout, but I imagine that you have yourself a good seat for the game.
I'll have a good one. I'll have a good vantage point.
All right, Paul, thank you for joining us again, the Director of Baseball Operations for the Colorado Rockies.